Good morning. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, or phone. All virtual participants will be automatically muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Appeal instructions are set out in the bottom of the decision of the committee. With respect to hearing procedure, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the applicant or agent may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposals at the hearing today. Then, individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, do we have, I guess we'll start with many minutes to approve.
Do you want to do conflicts first? Or
sure, I can do conflicts first. Any conflicts of staff or panel members for this morning? No, none. Then we'll move on to minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today we have one set of minutes to approve. It's from our May 15th, 2025 hearing. Present was Ms. Casson, Mr. Fazeli, Ms. Sankar, Ms. Martin, and Mr. Kubo.
All right. Could we have a motion to approve the minutes, unless anyone has any comments? Mr. Kipu?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve the minute as presented.
Seconder? Mr. Fazeli? All in favor? That's unanimous. Do we do deferrals next?
Through you, Madam Chair, we have a refund request. Would you mind if we did that first before we proceeded?
Sure, we can do
Thank you
that.
very much. We have the applicant present here. You have been previously provided a small background to this refund request. You have the correspondence previously submitted to the owner, rendering his decision regarding the refund request by our Secretary Treasurer. And you also have the email, the initial email from the applicant requesting a refund of the second committee of application fee.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Please make sure the microphone's on. There's a button at the bottom.
I see.
And start with your name and address. for
Hi,
the
my
record.
name Linda Kara-Georges. I'm at 88 Park Home Avenue. I've recently had a covered deck approved, and I'm asking for a refund of the second application because it's such a simple. This is a small project, so I had to fund the designs and the application separately from, say, building a big house. So in order to get it done, I paid in the first time I tried $4,000. The second time I tried another $4,000 between the drawings and the application fee because I had to make the deck smaller. So that took 3 years. No one wanted to do this presentation for me for less than $5,000 to $7,000. So I did it both times by myself. Now, I'm not asking you for a refund because you feel sorry for me. I think this whole process doesn't work well for homeowners. It works well for builders who make millions of dollars on building their projects. They're not even interested in small projects like mine. So the reason I asked for the refund is because this system is prejudicial against homeowners like me. And I think I strongly believe that it needs to be changed. That's not your job. But I think I feel that I can ask you for an exemption on one of the applications only because the system is too expensive. Every person I spoke with didn't get a permit, and for this reason. And those people's decks, we don't know if they're going to fall down tomorrow or not. I wasn't willing to do that, and I wanted to follow the law. So I ended up paying close to $8,000 to be honest and get a safe structure. But it shouldn't cost a homeowner that much. And I'm asking you for the refund on the second application because the process is flawed.
All right, thank you. So you understand that the process is set by the city of Toronto, and we don't have influence over that.
I know, but you can refund me the second application fee.
All right, does anyone have questions for the applicant? Mr. Kipu, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. If I understand you clearly, you are against the system, not just the system which incidentally caused you some financial burdens, not just because you believe you were not well treated in the process.
That's correct. I think there's no way for a homeowner like myself with a small project to do this in a safe and cost-effective way because of the process you have to go through and because the people that you hire to do the drawings, the people that you hire to build the deck, they're not regulated. So I've had a lot of problems with the person who drew the deck for me. I had a lot of problems with the first company that did the deck for me, and they did the drawing only because they wanted to sell me their roof, their glass roof. So I feel as if, as a homeowner, looking to do something small, everything is stacked against me, including the city process. And I think, one, the city should regulate these trades better, and two, it shouldn't be that hard to get approval for a deck.
So you understand that you could have complied with the bylaw and not required an application to the committee?
I understand that, yes.
Right. And when you decide to not comply with the bylaw, you have to go through this process that's set by the city. You don't have to hire a designer. If you're proposing a deck, you could draw it yourself and present it to the city. It isn't required to have a designer submit your application.
That makes sense to me. However, the guy next door to me who's building a brand new house got a designer, and he got a deck, same lot as mine, depth. He got a house length plus deck 2 meters longer than mine. So when you see all around you people doing this, but you're allowed to do this, then you want to try and get what they're allowed to do. This is the problem between the two processes. If you have the money and you have a professional, like I said, to get a company to represent me, it would have cost $5,000 to $7,000. Then maybe I would have had the same length deck as my neighbor, but
So there's no guarantee.
There's no
that
guarantee.
a professional designer is going to get you a bigger deck. I mean, it's what the committee thinks of the actual application for the variance. So
I understand.
does anyone else have any further questions? No? All right.
My last point is, the reason most people, 99% of my neighbors, everybody I spoke with, didn't apply for a permit was because of this process, and they didn't make 10-foot decks. They made much bigger decks.
All right, thank you for your comments. We'll take this into committee now.
Thank you.
Does somebody want to make a comment or a motion?
Chair, if I
Mr. Kibu?
comment, if I may make a comment, I'm always sympathetic toward small homeowners as this lady. But as she also said, she's not complaining just about herself, and she also indicated that she had option. She had option to comply with the bylaw. She had option to comply with the bylaws and do things on her own without the need of a professional. So I don't really see the need for her to be refunded for the fees that everyone is paying, irrespective of whether they are a bigger or smaller homeowner. So here I may not be able to support her application.
I will echo your comment in terms of the process is the same for everybody in the city. If you want to build something that's not permitted by the bylaw, you have to go through this process, and the process is clearly outlined by the city. The fee structure is outlined. The two applications that this applicant made were considered by the city, by the committee, and the outcomes were the outcomes. So I think that due process was covered in terms of making the applications. I don't think there was anything missing from the way it was considered. So I too don't see a reason to support a refund.
I concur with you. I can make a motion. I'll make a motion to refuse this request for a refund for the Committee of Adjustment fees.
Do we have a seconder? Mr. Kibu? All in favor? That's unanimous. Your application's been refused. Now, Mr. Secretary Treasurer, can we deal with deferrals?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much. First up is item number 8, 24 VANLEY Crescent.
All right, do we have the applicant? right? Wait.
To you, Mrs. Chair. Oh, yeah, it's working now.
Good morning, committee member. You can hear me?
Sorry, we can't hear you. Perhaps you could get closer to the microphone.
Yeah. How about now?
That's better.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, committee member. My name is Bel Mamiza. I'm here on behalf of my client, M&R Automotive Limited, for the application 24 VANLEY CRESCENT, Unit B. A license, my client is a licensed car dealership with ONVIC since 2023. We began operating this business at 24 VANLEY CRESCENT in April 2025. We are currently working with the city zoning examiner to determine whether this property may have previously been used for a car sale. Discussed with Andrew Kim, which is the assistant planner for the committee, if we can confirm prior dealership use. So the committee planning staff report would likely support our application. So we are asking to defer to finish this work. We are asking to defer this application to the August 28th hearing. This would allow us more time to complete our review with the zoning examiner and bring back more complete submission. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any question the committee may have.
Thank you. Just to clarify, you're asking for a deferral. We can't confirm that it would be heard on August 28th. It could be another date.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm okay.
Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, we'll take this into committee. Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to make a motion to defer this application as per applicant's request to work with the city staff planning department and get their support.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Ms. Martin? All in favor of the deferral? That is unanimous. Your request has been granted. All right, so now we go back to item 1. This is 2788 Bathurst Street.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and connected.
Yes, one moment. This is an application to reduce parking space and hour requirements for an apartment that's under construction. We have variance for width of vehicle entrance, drive aisle width, parking space width and length. On file, we have a survey, plans, cover letter, a parking justification letter, a previous decision from April 3rd, and transportation review comments. Now, we'll have the applicant, please. Your name and address first.
Good morning, Madam Chair. It's Sidonia Tomasella. I'm counsel with Airden Burles, and here on behalf of Lantera of Bathurst Glencairn Realty, Inc.
Thank you. Members, do we want a presentation on this? Does anybody? Okay, we have a request for you to comment on the transportation review comments. Perhaps we can pull them up. We already have them up. Thank you, staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair. The transportation study caught us off guard, and regrettably, we discovered that transportation, for reasons I cannot confirm, did not receive the BA group study. And so you'll see on throughout the report before you, they comment on the fact that they require vehicle maneuvering diagrams to confirm that the parking spaces and the dimensions to the drive aisles function appropriately. All of that, Madam Chair, was included in the BA group report that I did confirm through our office. We confirmed with Committee of Adjustment staff that that had all been properly uploaded onto the AIC. It is before you. And as I said, for reasons I don't, I can't explain why Transportation Review didn't receive that report. That being said, what my client is prepared to do, if the committee were prepared to approve the application, we would accept a condition. And if whomever is controlling the screen, if we can scroll to the bottom of page 4, you'll see the way transportation staff has articulated what it requires in order to confirm that they are satisfied with the variances before them. So we could accept that as a condition to any approval by the committee. And that will then allow us with the opportunity for transportation staff to do a full review of that BA group report. And then once we get their sign off, the variances that we have requested can be in full force and effect.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something else?
Just one other point. The part of the reason for the urgency of your consideration of this today and not any further deferral is in large part because planning staff have indicated that our site plan resubmission is on hold until you've had an opportunity to consider this. So that's being held off for circulation. We are scheduled for occupancy at the end of July, and registration was hopeful for September. So we really are trying to get through the final stages of the planning process. So we would be grateful for an approval that's conditional on the satisfaction of these paragraphs 1 and 2 from transportation staff.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Excuse me. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Marziari?
Through you, Madam Chair, just a quick question from applicant. So you are still in the SPA process, correct?
We are, yes. We've got it. We have done a resubmission that reflects some final matters for site plan. So transportation will be also reviewing through that site plan circulation process.
Okay, so transportation haven't signed off that yet.
Sir, I can't, through you, Madam Chair, I can't confirm precisely whether or not transportation has commented through the site plan process on these specific variances, but as I propose to lay it out, it would require transportation to turn their mind to satisfying themselves that the variances work if we would impose it as a condition.
Okay.
It checks and balances. In other words, it would be belts and suspenders. We would go through it through the confirmation of conditions and through site plan if transportation determined that they were going to also review it through the site plan resubmission.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Ms. Martin?
I have a question for the applicant. So transportation is asking for vehicle movement diagrams using auto-turn software. So that seems very specific.
Yes.
And was that included in the parking justification? I don't see it.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, if the BA group report I understand is before you, that was dated May the 15th, 2025. Those vehicle maneuvering diagrams are attached as Appendix A to that report, sorry, Appendix B to that report.
Okay, I didn't see those diagrams. Are they using the specific software that they want you to use?
So, Madam Chair, I've through you, Madam Chair, I've done these applications several times and have had the benefit of BA Group's reports in all those instances. My understanding is that what we've included, and I incorrectly said Appendix C, I meant Appendix B, I meant Appendix C. Those are the vehicle maneuvering diagrams that transportation expects. Again, though, if they needed something more through the imposition of the condition drafted precisely as transportation staff has requested, we could supplement that information in the event that they require something more. But my understanding is that what we have provided in the past as part of what you're seeing in Appendix C has been accepted by transportation.
Thank you very much. So I'm curious, why why did they not read your report? Or,
I-
yeah,
through you, Madam Chair, I don't know if they didn't read the report. Looking at the transportation study, it suggests that they didn't have that information in front of them. So the concern was maybe through the uploading of the reports that it didn't make its way. I don't know what happens once we file, but we have confirmed we filed. You have it before you. Somehow it didn't get to transportation, and I just can't explain why that happened.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? All right, we'll take this into committee for a decision. I'll start off. I have seen this kind of thing before. I don't see it as a problem, and I think if we make the condition, as the applicant indicated, everybody is covered, that it won't get approval without Transportation Services signing off through the site plan process. And I think that the request is pretty minor, in my opinion. Mr. Marziari?
I agree, Madam Chair. I think it's a supportable application. They have a very detailed parking justification, and all the diagrams and maneuvering diagrams are there. So I support this application. I don't have any issue, and I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead, please.
So I put forward a motion to approve this application subject to transportation condition.
All right, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Fazeli? All in favor? That's unanimous. Your application has been approved, subject to the condition from Transportation Services. All right. Number 2. 35 DONWOODS. This is an application to construct a new dwelling. We have variances for rear deck projection, height of main wall, building length, setback to shoreline hazard limit or stable top of bank. On file, we have a survey, plans, ravine and natural protection services memo, TRCA report, and TRCA permit and approved plans. Do we have our applicant with us?
Yes, hello?
Hello.
Oh,
Welcome.
Yes,
Name and address, please.
yes, my name is Tom Sprague from Sprague and Company Architects, and our address is 156 Duncan Mill Road here in Toronto. I'd just like to give a very brief background to this application, if I could, please. The owners purchased their house 6 years ago and now would like to build a new home for their family. I should say they've reviewed this with the immediate neighbors on all sides, and all of whom are supportive of what's being proposed. This particular property is subject to and totally within the jurisdiction of the Toronto Region Conservation Authority. So what we actually did first, prior to making an application to the committee, was getting the approval and a permit from the Toronto Region Conservation. We posted that, and you have that uploaded, and it was posted on June the 19th, I believe. And as you've mentioned, a subsequent TRCA report came through on July the 4th, saying they had no objections to that application. We also, with respect to the other variants, and you've pulled it up on the screen right now, I just wanted to make a quick comment about the degree of the other variances. And now this is one which shows the length. I'll go back to the other one, if you would, please. That shows the length of the more than the 17 meters. As can be seen, it's a very small part that projects out, not across the whole back, but on both two wings on each side. So quite a small extension. Secondly, if you could scroll down to the second example, the next drawing, that's the one with height, and that's the one that's 7.95 meters. But I'd just like to bring to the committee's attention, it's a small portion that's hatched there at the top that's actually at that point. The rest of the roof, although it is slightly, it's 7.65, but it's slightly more than the bylaw as well. But it's that one point that drives the 7.95 height restriction. Just I feel the last variances with respect to the deck, and because the deck's 5 feet above grade instead of 4 feet, there's a variance with respect to that. I do feel that all the variances before you, in my opinion, are minor. There's no variances for anything like, you know, the amount of coverage, side yard setbacks, height of buildings, landscape, that thing. I think these variances are very minor. I think the development's very appropriate, and I feel that the variances that you see before you are appropriate and minor in nature. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, we'll take this into committee for a decision.
I'd be happy to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. It is appropriate and seems sensitive to the neighbors, and the variances are minor in nature.
Thank you very much, Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Fazeli. All in favor of the variances? The motion, yes? That's unanimous. Your application has been approved. Right. We're not getting any comments from the applicants. Are you cutting them off? I'm like, there's no response. Oh, okay. Usually they say, they have the opportunity to say thank you. Or, yes, they're just gone. All right, thank you. Item number 3, 14 Millgate Crescent. This is an application to construct a garden suite above an existing pool structure, I believe. Ancillary structure, anyway. The variances are for rear yard setback to the garden suite, side yard setback height and setback to the main dwelling, side yard setback to a platform, and distance to the main building, height of a platform on a garden suite, which is on the second story. On file, we have a survey, previous decisions including January 18th, 2024, and TLAB August 7th, 2024 for the pool structure, plans, supporting material, community planning report, and a letter of objection from 12 Millgate Crescent. Do we have our applicant?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. My name is Rick Papa from AFA Architects. I'm the architect and owner's agent. Our office is 174 Spadina Avenue, Unit 307.
Thank you. Do you have any changes to make to the application today?
We do. So in alignment with the staff report, we agree to the modifications to variances 1, 3, and 4, as well as the condition for privacy screens.
So let's just go through the public notice and just confirm one by one for the record. Variance 1, the number's changing, you're saying, from 0.5?
Yeah, so it's the exact modifications in the staff report. So for variance number 1, the rear yard setback is revised from 0.5 to 0.8. The second modification is variance number 3.
So no change.
Revised from 6.8 to 6.2. And the third is to variance number 4, revised from 3.5 to 4 meters.
All right, thank you. All right, we do have somebody, a neighbor in attendance. So if you could provide us a brief presentation for the committee.
Through you again, Madam Chair. The subject proposal is for a 2-story, 2-bedroom garden suite over an existing pool at the rear of a 2-story single-family dwelling. The garden suite will function as additional needed housing stock in a desirable area within the city. The variances requested are for height, rear, side yard setback, setback from the main house, and for a rear balcony. Many of these variances are at least partially due to the irregular shape of the lot. The increase in height is proposed to allow a swimmer access underneath the garden suite and utilize the full length of the existing pool. There are residential neighbors to the north and south of the property and no immediate neighbors to the west or rear. The garden suite utilizes the existing concrete pool foundation. And as such, there is no additional impact to private, public trees or landscaping. There are no south-facing windows, and a 1.5 meter privacy screen is proposed at the second floor balcony to address privacy concerns specifically to the neighbor at 12 Millgate. The proposed average setback along the neighboring property, 12 Millgate Crescent, is actually 1.7 beyond the required 1.54. In addition, a continuous hedge along the new fence at the south property line has been planted to address any visual impacts to the neighboring properties, and you can see those in the photos we've provided. You're currently looking at the shadow study. So there's no shadowing from the garden suite on either residential lot during the growing season. We have discussed and worked with planning to revise the proposal. They're in support, stating in the report that the proposal meets the intent of the official bylaw, zoning bylaw, and that the variances are minor in nature and are considered appropriate development for the site. We agree with the planning staff that the project meets the four tests of the Planning Act, and I would add that the proposal has minimal to no impact on the neighboring properties. Great time.
Thank you. You said there were some photos. Are they part of the supporting material?
Yes, that's correct. There's a key plan with some photos of the site.
It's a very extensive shadow study you provided us.
We're used to it. Thank you.
Could we see the photos, staff, with the hedge? I just wanted to.
I believe it's a separate file.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it, but we'll just take a minute to see if we can find it. Doesn't seem to be part of the package. Am I missing something?
You, Madam Chair, and the photos, I think it's among the photos that submitted for tree protection.
Sorry,
For urban forestry, but they're not in the package, but they're online.
Oh, in the AIC, okay. All right, that's okay, I just thought it'd be helpful. All right, any questions for the applicant?
Oh, you have it on your screen right there.
Oh, there we go.
So if you scroll, this is the key plan for the photos, and the photos are beyond the next pages. So if you scroll, yeah, there you go.
So can we go back in those photos and just see where is the pool structure up?
So photo 3, I think, demonstrates the location of the garden suite the best. So the pool structure is constructed. The foundation is adequate for the garden suite, the 2-story garden suite.
That's what I was, so is there a picture of the pool structure or no?
This is the pool structure is so you're referencing the TLAB decision. The pool structure has not been constructed yet.
Oh,
so.
that's why we're missing the point here. Okay. All right, thank you very much. That's helpful. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, let's hear from the resident. I don't believe they're here. They must be online.
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Jarmila Fischer, and I am a resident of 12 Millgate Crescent for last 38 years.
Thank you.
12 Millgate Crescent is located on the southern side of 14 Millgate Crescent.
All right, and you can go ahead and give us your comments and concerns.
So 14 Millgate Crescent is a new, very large primary residence, which was already granted very generous variances to zoning bylaws in April 2022, including increased height from permitted 8 to 1165, side yard setback from 1.8 meters to 1.2 meters. Could we please have a picture number 1? So to see truly how the house looks, it has this enormous extension and proximity to the 12 Millgate Crescent. As well as enormous swimming pool was built along the entire western wall, measuring about 33 meters in length and 4 meters in width. Picture 3, please. Request for variance is to build an accessory structure for pool enclosure about 2 meters in height. Was submitted in January 24 with variances to increase lot coverage from 60 square meters to 115 meters, which is almost double of permitted size. This was unanimously refused by Committee of Adjustment and eventually approved by the Toronto Appeal body in May 2024. Consequently, by the above structures, this makes the lot already very busy and very much involved by constructions. Can we please have picture 3? Picture 3, please. No, there was a yellow picture 3. It's not here. That's not okay. Go back, one more. Okay, stop, please. This one. Okay, to show you the size of the house and the ancillary structure of the swimming pool with projected coverage, you can see the amount of the lot already being occupied. And now we are going to the present hearing, which is pertaining to another new request to construct an ancillary building house containing garden suite above the existing pool. The garden suite is 2-story house. The measurements are not clearly indicated on submitted diagram. It seems to be about 8 meters wide at the back, 6.8 meter wide in front, and about 6.5 meters deep. Picture 4, please. Plan with garden suite. Request for multiple variances to zoning bylaws was included with this request. One regarding reduction of rear setback from required minimum of 1.5 originally to 0.5, which I heard today is 0.8, I presume, which is a significant reduction of required setback by bylaws. Number 2, reduction of side yard setback from required 154 to 1.2, which is on the side of Millgate 12. Then we have a request for height and density of lot coverage. Request to increase height of the building from bylaw permitted 4 meters to 6.8, which was reduced by a few centimeters in today's presentation. Originally, it represented 70% increase in height. This is a 2-story building in a close proximity to property line on a lot already harboring enormous primary house and a huge swimming pool with projected enclosure. Plan also contains platform and a large veranda on main floor of the garden house front side. Platform without main walls is permitted if the platform complies with the required minimum building setbacks and separation from the ancillary building containing the garden suite. The minimum side yard setback is 1.54 meters, and the minimum separation distance is 7.5 meters for garden suite, which is more than 4 meters high, which is the request in present application. This proposed ancillary building with the garden suite and front platform has separation distance, which is only 3.5 meters in the original application. And if I understand correctly from presentation today, increased to 4 meters from the side.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you because you've gone over your time limit. We do have your letter. Is there anything else you want to mention, finally, quickly?
I just wanted to say that the whole point of these bylaws is to restrict the height of the garden suite in its so it is not in significant proximity to the main residence and some time or and at the same time to regulate the density of the coverage. I also wanted to mention that the platform with the garden varieties allowed on the first floor, and there is yet another variance request for the second floor in the form of balcony protruding very close to the property on 12 Millgate Crescent.
Okay, thank you. We understand your concerns. We are going to let the applicant respond to those concerns, and then we will take it into committee for consideration. Thank you for your comments.
Through you, Madam Chair. Many of the the grievances that Dr. Pfizer has brought up are not part of this subject proposal. But I will say that there was considerable effort given to the main house approvals and compromise to the setbacks at Dr. Pfizer's property line, and that the average is approximately 2.3 meters setback from the property line at 12 Millgate. Many of the photos in Dr. Pfizer's submittal are 1 year old, and there's been significant amount of work done by the owner to beautify that property line, a new fence and a new row of shrubs along that property line. And I'll just say that we've gone through many discussions with planning, and they are in agreement with us that the proposal meets the 4 tests.
Okay, question. It just occurred to me as I was listening to the neighbor and I was looking at the plans again. This proposed garden suite sits on top of the pool. It's cantilevered in a sense, or just sits over the pool, because the pool seems to extend from one end of the yard to the other. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So the additional height request to 6.2 meters was so that someone could continually use the length of the pool in its current existing state. So it's a little bit of a strange.
Yeah. It's just a bit unusual.
Yeah.
Is there an elevation drawing that shows that side, that I guess it's the south side? Does one of
There is, yeah. So the north elevation shows the condition of that. I guess you could call it a void. There you go.
I don't. Is that the north elevation, staff? Oh, maybe.
That's correct. Yeah, that's the correct elevation.
East.
So
I see.
the pool foundation's indicated there below, and there's a notching in the elevation for someone to
swim
enter
through
underneath the garden suite.
Interesting. Is there a glass floor in the garden suite?
There is not. No.
Just curious. Is, but the entire building is set higher because of that,
Correct. That's the request for
need
the
for the
additional
pool.
height.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? No? I think we can probably then take this into committee. Yes? All right. Staff, can you put up the photo that the resident, the one that shows the corner of her property and this property shows the pool in the corner, the proximity basically of the pool structure to her property? Keep going. Not that one. I think it was in hers. That one. Thank you very much. Okay. So I'll start off the conversation here. It took me a little while to figure this out because originally I was thinking the pool structure is separate, but the pool is basically property line to property line, give or take the triangular piece. I don't have as much problem with there being a garden suite, but I think the variances that I have concerns with particularly are 4 and 5, and it's really 5, having a balcony on the second floor. I mean, this lot has been developed almost completely. There's not a lot of space left on the lot. It's kind of, in a way, the garden suite appears to be an afterthought. But I'm not sure that a second floor balcony is appropriate because it would be, if I'm reading it right, and I'll let my colleagues tell me if I'm reading it wrong, it would be in that corner, in the facing that triangle, where the property lines meet. And although it's not directly, you're still going to see into the neighbor's yard. And even with a privacy screen, is it really necessary to have a second floor balcony on a garden suite? I think that is my question in this situation because of the impact that it could have. If it was just facing the back where there's parkland or trail or whatever, I don't see it. If it was on the, what would that be? Northwest side, I think, I wouldn't have as much of a concern, but I do have a concern, and then I think variance 4 is related to it. So I'm curious to hear what my friends have to say. Sorry, maybe staff now, could we bring up the site plan? Thank you. Sorry. Might be helpful. Because that shows where the balcony is proposed. You could have a ground floor patio there. Yeah, and still have some privacy, I guess, for the garden suite is what they're trying to achieve. Anyway, it seems a bit excessive to me.
I agree with you. I think that, that sort of, it's looking over the neighbor's property, and that is a concern from the neighbor who's been there for 17 years. And it looks like they've got a mechanical room or something on the ground floor. Mechanical and bike.
Can we look at the floor plans for
But
the ground
I
floor?
think that could be,
Bike storage,
if
which
they
is
want
required.
to have, like you said, a patio.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Take some space somewhere else and
Mm-hmm.
get creative with the bike park.
Right. That's a bylaw requirement. I guess that's why they have it there.
And I'm presuming that they're meeting their percentage of rear yard landscaping.
Yeah, it doesn't appear, there's no variance for it, so we have to assume it is. If it gets to site plan and they haven't, then I guess that will be a problem for them. But at this point, we don't have any information on that. Does anyone else have comments?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Maraziari.
Yes, I think it's not a common garden suite, but I agree with you. I think the balcony, the overlook to the neighbor, is not desirable for this application. But the height, I had a bit of concern with the height, but I think the proximity of the garden suite with the main house is triggering the height variance. And I'm looking at the elevation. The ceiling heights are not high. It's about 8 foot or a little bit more, which is not much. And because of the swimming pool going underneath the garden suite, which is not common at all, like they have to come up for 4 feet. So I think the height is not a concern. The other variances are also not a concern, but I like the bike storage. It's just the upper floor terrace that is being used. I think that is a problem. But other than that, I don't have any problem with other variances.
Anyone else? Anyone care to make a motion?
Well, to me, it can be still a roof, but just not usable. I mean, they can still have the space there for the bike, but just not being used as a terrace. So we can probably refuse variance 5, but approve the other one.
Is 4 not tied to it, or would that impact something else? I think you have to refuse 4 and 5, but
4 is... I can try a motion and see how
please do.
it goes. So I'd like to put forward a motion to approve this application and refuse variance 5, approve the application as amended, and so variance 1 we reduce to be increased from 0.5 to 0.8, variance 3 to be reduced from 6.8 to 6.2, and variance number 4 to be increased from 3.5 to 4, and refuse variance number 5. And I wouldn't include a condition of planning because there's no point in inclusion of privacy screen.
All right. Is there a seconder? Mr. Fazeli? All in favor? That is 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Oh, you? In favor, yeah. So 4, I'm opposed. All right. The application as amended has been approved. All right, item number 4, 111 Norton Avenue. This is an application for a 3-story detached dwelling. We have variances for coverage, main pedestrian entrance height, number of stories, rear balcony size, and building length. On file, we have a survey, site plans, site photos, a presentation, 2 letters of objection from 105 Norton and 130 Parkview Avenue. We have our applicant with us.
Ali Shaferi, 326 Shepherd Avenue. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. We don't seem to have anybody here on this application. Does anyone want a presentation? All right, Mr. Sharkari, I don't think we need a presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, if you could possibly just address the 2 letters of objection. I assume you've seen them.
Yes, I see the objection on the 3-story, which is a technical 3-story. The basement or the lower level on this case is considered a story. I have submitted some support material showing that, and also because the Yes, that one. So the basement could be dug further to eliminate that variance. We thought it would be pointless because it would just be costly and also create some technical issues as well, such as requirement of the shoring and many other reasons. And because that basement is a story, the main floor immediately above it is considered second floor, and that triggered another variance for the size of the balcony. So both of these two variances are technical, and I see that's in the letter from the neighbors mentioning that. I looked at number 105 Norton, for example, which is not an adjacent house, the one that is that sent an objection letter. They have a larger balcony on the backyard, exceeding 20 square meters, significantly larger than ours. And even on the front, they have a significantly larger porch. So I think basically the what they're talking about is technical variances that we have requested here, and it's not like we're going to have a balcony of that size on a second floor of this building, comparing apples to apples to the neighbor. The number 105 Norton Avenue is a big house, is a new house, and they have all these features. Yeah, I believe somebody has to explain to them that these are not causing any house that is significantly different than anything else in the neighborhood. So submitted several photos of what's the image of the buildings in the neighborhood, and I hope it's self-explanatory.
Okay, thank you. Okay with that. Staff, can you just put up the front elevation of the proposal? Yeah, thank you. So to me, and maybe just to confirm, Mr. Shakari, it reads as a two-story dwelling from the street.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It is a two-story technically.
Yes.
Just because the basement now is considered above grade, which is not above grade. It's more than half of it is above grade. That's why the three-story variance kicks in. Right. And I see many other applicants have to actually come to the Committee of Adjustment, ask for the same thing, because digging the basement excessively is pointless and it has no impact on the building mass. So this is, in presence of the photos that they submitted, this is no different than the other houses in the neighborhood. There are too many. The garage and the 2 floors above the garage. So it's the same, basically.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? No? Mr. Marziari?
I'm actually ready to make a motion, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. We'll take this into committee. Go ahead, Mr. Marziari.
I think it's a straightforward application. We are familiar with this 2-story versus 3-story and definition of basement and main floor. So I don't have any concern with this application. Very straightforward. So I'd like to make a motion to approve with no condition.
Thank you. Seconder, Ms. Martin? All in favor? That is unanimous. The application's been approved.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. All right. Item number 5, 390 Glencairn Avenue. This is an application for a new 3-story single-family dwelling. A lot of variances. We have variances for rear deck, east and west side yard setbacks, rear deck canopy, east and west side yard setbacks, building length and depth, floor space index, east and west side yard setbacks, I think. Number of platforms at or above the 2nd story, area of a balcony, front porch and canopy encroachment into the east side yard. On file, we have survey plans, urban forestry comments, and 6 form letters of support. All right, Do we have our applicant?
Yes, good morning. I'm Drew Laszlo, agent for the owner. My address is 193 Rowe Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you, Mr. Laszlo. All right. We don't have anybody here on this application. We don't have anybody here at all, at least in the chamber. Does anyone, Mr. Laszlo, any changes to make to the application today?
No changes.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Yeah. No? Last call? Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If just the applicant can address the need for building length, probably you can shed some light on that variance. We want to understand why do we need that length and what's triggering that.
Yes, of course. Well, variance numbers 5 and 6 are kind of related. You know, they're generally the same. One's for building length, the other's for building depth. And it is measured, those numbers, the 22.93 meters, that's measured from the front wall of the house all the way to the back of the rear deck. And that is because we are excavating below that rear deck for the basement. So we have to include it in the overall building length and depth calculations.
Thanks, understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's take it into committee. It's a lot of variances on this application, but they are pretty
They
minor.
are duplicated. I think a lot of them, like, it's a covered deck and covered porch. So
Yes.
they are like
So-
repeated, so.
Exactly. So it seemed like a lot at the beginning, but then when you start breaking them down, they are fairly minor individually. I think the building length and depth are that common excavated basement with a covered deck. I would recommend, if someone's making a motion, that we put in a condition that it remain unenclosed, the rear deck, and/or substantially in accordance with the site plan, just to ensure that that is what's built. But other than that, those are my only comments.
I'm happy to make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Martin, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. It basically meets the 4 tests, and I agree that the rear covered porch should not be, it should remain unenclosed, and that should be part of the conditions. There's also a low railing, but the neighbors seem to have had no problem with it, so also to include forestry condition number 3. What? Yeah, I said
Should,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a seconder? Mr. Fazeli? All in favor? That is unanimous. The application has been approved conditionally. Yes, probably. We should take a quick break. 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Okay, 10 minutes. We are back, and we have an echo, do we? Are we good? All right. Item number 6, 61 Northwood Drive. This is an application to construct an accessory structure in the rear yard. We have variances for lot coverage. And on file, we have a previous decision from February 15th, 2024, survey, plans, and site photos. We have our applicant with us.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Name and address, please, for the record.
My name is Mehdi Ajman, the architect of project and agent for my client, the owner of 61 Northwood Drive. The application is pretty straightforward. We are asking for 1.6% lot coverage just for the sake of accessory building that we propose on the rear yard. The accessory building is aligned with the neighboring building, and in terms of side setback, rear setback, the height, they are just in compliance. And basically, if there is any concern and question, is pretty straightforward. Even by asking this 1.6, we are still less than 32%, which is a very common lot coverage in this neighborhood. And that's all. If there is any concern or question, I can address them.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right. I don't think we need any more than that. We'll take this into committee. All right, anyone comments or a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, if there are no comments, I'm okay to make a motion.
Okay.
No comments, seems like it. Yeah, it's a straightforward application, in my opinion, and I believe it's satisfied for a test. The applicant explained the reasoning behind it as well, so I forward a motion for approval of this application.
Thank you. Seconder, Mr. Marziari? All in favor? That is unanimous. The application has been approved. All right. Item number 7, 102 Briar Hill Avenue. This is an application for a new detached dwelling. We have variances for front yard landscaping percentage, driveway width, floor space index, height of entrance to an ancillary building, and building length. On file, we have a survey, revised plans June 17th, original public notice, notes on original public notice, original plans from June 4th, cover letter, presentation material, arborist report, urban forestry conditions, and letters of support from 72, 80, 86, 94, 99, and 112 Briar Hill, and 103 Albertus Avenue. Do we have our applicant?
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Alexander Overholt from Contempla Studio, located at 1140 the Queensway, speaking on behalf of this application.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And do you have any changes to make to the application today?
No changes to the application. I'm sure there may be a little confusion as to why there are two different public notices and revised zoning waivers. Just note that the original public notice had incorrect variances. We worked with the zoning department to obtain a new zoning notice which reflect the correct variances. There were some slight miscalculations in our landscaping in our front and our FSI, as well as the labeling of an incorrect variance. Yes, this is the incorrect notice. Since then, the news app was submitted to the AIC and a public notice was issued to reflect the revised variances. So I believe that application, that public notice, which I do believe is dated June 20th, is indeed the variances we shall be pursuing today.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I don't think we have anyone here on this application. Do we want a presentation or no? Just questions, possibly?
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you. If just a quick elaboration on variance number 6 for the building length, that would be great.
Variance number 5, I believe. The building length of 16.21 meters.
Yes, variance number 5. That's under revised public notice.
Yes, of course. I'd be very much happy to do that. Yeah, so we actually, if you don't mind, we do have a presentation and some supporting material that does some diagrams that might be quite helpful for some visuals for everyone. If you could kindly pull that up, it'd be highly appreciated. If we look at perhaps page number 9, there'll be a diagram there that can assist with my explanation here. Almost there. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, so here is a image of our site plan. As you can see here, it is to be known that the zoning in this area is an exception zone, right? That does reduce our allowed building length drastically to 14 meters. We set our building footprint, the length of it, the front wall and the rear walls, to match pretty much the existing structures located just to the right of our footprint here. I want it to be known that it is the 16.21 meters is measured to that rear bay on the right side as well, and the rest of our main dwelling has a building length of 15.35 meters. And it is be known, and I'd like the merits to be acknowledged, that our complete depth does comply with the 17 meters. I just do believe that this being an exception zone with a drastically reduced allowed building length does kind of trigger this variance. I do believe that if the regular zoning was allowed for this property, this wouldn't be an issue.
All right, any other questions? Ms. Martin?
Yeah, I have a question for the applicant. I'm curious, did you have any issue with your side yard setbacks? Because they appear to be extremely close to the property line, but you don't have any variance for them. So what is the side yard setback for your area? Because I just couldn't find it on the web. I looked.
Not a problem. I'm pulling up this site plan right now, and I'd be happy to answer that question. Yes, so typically the right side yard setback is reduced to 0.45 meters, and we propose it to 0.45 meters. Typically, this would actually incur variance, but there is an exception in the bylaw where it states that the side yard setbacks can be reduced to 0.45 meters as long as there are no windows or doors proposed along the side of that building. So we are, you're correct, very close to the property line, but we are in conformance with the zoning bylaw.
Okay, thank you. And what about the left side?
The left side's allowed to be 0.9 meters.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Any more questions? No? All right. We'll take it into committee. I will just say, again, we have another covered porch, so I would recommend we do a motion to ensure it stays unenclosed, but I leave it up to you. And possibly for to be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan, just so the building length, in my opinion, can't be applied across the whole structure.
Okay, I'm happy to make a motion.
All right, Ms. Martin, go ahead.
I can make a motion to approve this application subject to forestry condition 2, and that the project is built in compliance, substantial compliance with the site plan, the approved site plan, and that the covered porch remains unenclosed.
Yes, the rear covered porch.
Sorry, the rear covered porch remains unenclosed.
All right, do we have a seconder? Mr. Fazeli, all in favor? That is unanimous. Your application has been approved. item number 8, which was deferred, right? So we're on to item number 9. 15 Tudor Gate. This is an application to increase the driveway width. The variances are for driveway width and front yard landscaping percentage. On file, we have a survey, plans, a previous decision from May 2016, applicant's photos, ravine and natural feature protection memo, letter of objection from 19 Tudor Gate, and a late presentation. Do we have our applicant?
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. Good, are we still morning? Yes, we're still good morning. Name and address for the record, please.
Ida Evangelista, 53 Bentworth Avenue, on behalf of the owners of 15 Tudor Gate.
Thank you. And I assume you have no changes to make to the application?
No, Madam Chair, we do not.
All right. Do we require a presentation, or are there any questions for the applicant? No? We're good? All right. I guess we will take this into committee then.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Did you have a comment?
If this is, if this is a positive outcome, then I am, because we are making the situation better at the front of the house. We are adding additional landscaping to what the original proposal was. So if you have no questions and you're ready to go into committee, I'm here waiting.
All right, thank you. Mr. Marziari?
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you. I think it's a straightforward application. I drove by this neighborhood a lot, and I think it's a very common driveway configuration, so I think it's supportable, and I'd like to make a motion to approve with no condition.
Thank you. Seconder, Mr. Fazeli? All in favor? That is unanimous. Your application's been approved. And I believe that concludes the morning session. We will be back at 2 p.m.